Hey everybody, it's Joel from The Board Game Mechanics. Real quick plug for The Board Game Mechanics. We're a podcast, video channel, all that stuff. If you enjoy this video, you might like our podcast. You can find the podcast in the link in the description of this video or at www.bgmechanics.com. Anyway, enough of a commercial for myself, right? Let's get to what you wanted to hear about, which is Blackout Tokyo. Blackout Tokyo from Alexander Pfister is a cool game. How cool is it? I'm going to save that for later. But Alexander Pfister is one of my favorite designers. I really like Mombasa. I really like Great Western Trail. I really like Broom Service. Just off the top of my head, 3 games of his that I really enjoy. Oh My Good's a little card game from him. I'm just on and on. He has so many good games, and his designs are so diverse. They all kind of have a different feel to them. So how does this one hold up compared to those? Is this going to be kind of unique? Is it a kind of redone game? I don't know. What do we think of it here, Board Game Mechanics? Well, let's get to the table, get you an understanding of this game, and then I'll come back with some final thoughts on it and give it a final wrench rating, letting you know where I put it at. Hey, this is Blackout Hong Kong. So let's take a look at this game. First off the board, we have these tokens set up in a bunch of different spots. There's stacks of 3 all over there. Those are scouting tokens. Those are kind of like what we're trying to reveal. Those basically represent that there's certain resources or things available if you go get them from these districts that haven't been secured. So each district is supposed to have 3 of those tokens in there, so we put stacks of 3 in all of them. Then also we have other tokens in this game that are pretty important. We have these are called transport tokens. These tokens are going to be able to help us with shortcomings on being able to get certain resources we need and making network connections on the board that we might need. Then we have these scout tokens. These are going to make us better at searching those districts that haven't been secured yet. Then in my player stuff, I have these huts, these houses that are going to go onto my player board. We'll talk about the player board here in a second. And then these cubes that just are used to keep track of a number of things in this game. Finally, we have money up there. That's HK bucks. So those are the general supply of things. This game also involves different objectives, they're called, which are cards that we're going to basically buy to put into our player area and get more points from them or better benefits. And then finally, there's this kind of almost rondel where I'm going to put a cube in there to start the game on batteries, which are wild resources. And if I were playing against Jason, he would put one there too. And those die there are going to be pretty critical in this game as well as we go through this game. But Jason's going to have a starting spot too. And I was going to say that I was the starting player, so Jason would have been able to pick first. He gets to go right here. I don't know if you can see that on the board very well because the board's kind of hard to see, if I'm going to be totally honest about this. So let's go ahead and pan down here and let's take a look at my player board. And I'm going to slide this over a little bit. Bear with me. So we can get a real nicely framed up look at what this is going to be like. This player board's really great because it's going to lay out the whole game for me. Okay? It's really one of the better player boards I've ever played with. So I have in my player area this purple thing because I'm the first player and I'm going to walk everyone through the steps. Okay? But the steps of the game are all laid out for me. Before I get to the steps of the game, though, I want to talk about this. I have a hand of cards as well. So in my hand of cards, I have basically these simple volunteer workers that are going to basically give me 1 of each resource. The top part is really important for us to know what the card's going to give me as a benefit. I have a couple of specialists to start the game. A doctor who's going to help me get people out of the infirmary. So people are going to get hurt throughout this game. When you go out and you do heroic things, sometimes you get hurt. The mechanic's going to give me some money by helping to fix up generators and things that might need fixed. And then this card is a scout, and the scout is going to give me some benefits as well to help me try and get out there and try and get some tiles flipped over and understand what's going to be able to happen for me to get a benefit in those unexplored regions. So this really isn't a rules explanation. This is just going to be very quick and just kind of a overview of the game. In my player board here, in my player area, I have these 3 cards that I start off the game with. Each of these has a bottom area that isn't present on these cards. These are blank down here. This bottom area is the part of the card that is where I want to try and complete that. It happens in that orange box there. This one has 3 of them, okay? So what happens is that as I am able to meet the criteria of the bottoms of these cards, they give me the benefit that's on the other side of the area. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom down on one of these cards so we can really see it. This guy here, he says get 1 food and 1 fuel. And then he will join our team. Go into my hand is what that symbol means. And then he will let me put a cube down. And I guess we're going to call it a purple city. And the purple and the red, they drive me batty for how they look. because the cards, I don't know, it drives me batty how the purple and the red are in this game, or the purple and or the red and the orange, or I don't even know how to say it, but like the colors in this game are really bad, and that's something that this game has to overcome to be a good game. It is a good game otherwise, but those colors they drive me crazy. So I'm gonna say that right now, and I'll probably say it later. The water and the tools here to get that into your hand, and then put a cube down into a yellow city. Those are the objectives that we're gonna try and get. So this one has several objectives, and then when I complete all the objectives, I get the super benefit. These cards over here that we can draft all have objectives as well. And we won't get into those right now because this really, again, isn't just how to play the game. It's just an overview. So first step is we roll the die and we place we plan our cards. So what we did is I already rolled. I'm going to pretend like I already rolled. You have to roll 3 unique faces, no doubles allowed. And you put them in the different spots. So now we know blue will get us food. So any blue worker I place down will get me a food. The tools are red and the water is yellow. So now I know that if I plan my cards accordingly, I will get those resources. So let's zoom back out. So here are my cards. So a blue, yellow, and a red. I know they're going to get me something each of them. So what I have to do in my plan phase, I'm going to go ahead and get all the resources I can right now because I need resources to unlock those people too. So I'm going to put them face down onto my play area. Okay. And then that's that whole action. That's the first step. We rolled and we planned. Now I'm going to deploy volunteers and specialists. That's step 2. So I move this little purple disc up to step 2. Well, all that means is I'm going to one at a time flip these over and do them in the order I want. And so I collect those 3 resources. And the way how I show that I collect resources, I use these cubes and place them over there on kind of the rondelle. And so I place my resources over there, and I have them over there. So I put them in the area where they belong. So I've done that. The other players would do that. We would go then onto objectives. So objectives is when I try and complete the bottom side of this. So remember, I did collect a water and a tool to this round. So I'd be able to get her to join my team. So I want to just real quick show you this. She has that symbol, which means she goes into my hand. And then she also allows me to put a cube into a yellow city. Well, let's pan up here. My starting spot in this game would have been here. I would want to place adjacently there. So if I need to place adjacently, there's no cost to that. However, if I needed to skip, so let's just say, I'm going to pan up a little more. Let's just say that red, this red down here doesn't exist. We're going to pretend. But I need to go to this red right here, and I don't have a cube there. Then I can pay one of my travel tokens to skip across that and place a cube over here. Okay? Those travel tokens are also useful on this. Let's say I needed a book, and I could use a yellow card and a travel token to move one spot over to get that type of resource. Okay? So let's zoom back out again. And let's take a look at the next phase. So after I do my objectives, add cards to my hand, things like that, I go ahead and I scout. So scouting is one of the trickier things to teach in this game, but it's really actually pretty simple. All it is that you're going to put together a team, plus calculate all the other benefits that you have, the permanent benefits you have for scouting with that scouting symbol, plus these chips, and you're going to have a certain point value, okay? And then you're going to go into a district and you're going to flip these tiles over. And you see these point values here? If you're able to exceed the point value of one of these things, you can do either the top or the bottom half of that. So this one was kind of nice. A 6, a 6, and a 9. So a 6 is going to be pretty easy to get early in the game. So I would probably try and get, let's say I'm going to try and get this 6 right here. So when I get that, I'm going to take that and place it into my what they call check mark area. Face up. And that was me scouting this time. So then next time I scout, this one gave me victory points. So every time I scout a victory point marker, which this one just happens to be, I would put it face down next to me. And look what that does. It gives me a permanent benefit. So I permanently have another scout icon available to me. So back to the player board. That's scouting. I mean, there's more to it than that a little bit, but not much. Finally, we get new objectives. So this shows us right here. $4 if there's 3 cards in the row where you're going to scout things from or take objectives from. 3 coins if there's 2. And 1 coin if there's only 1. So this goes back up to our row of cards here, our array of cards. So all these are going to cost me 4 right now because they all have 3 cards in there. But if there were 1 card missing, I'd only have to pay 3 now. And if there were 2 cards missing, I'd only have to pay 2. So I can draft any of those 9 cards, paying the cost that's associated with it. And then what's going to happen is the next phase that's going to happen is the perishable goods, which are going to be the water and the food. we're able to cash in to basically get more money or get more GPS stuff. And then as part of that cleanup phase where we get rid of our perishable goods, we're going to take the rightmost cards out of the game. So that might look like that if nobody drafted anything or if there were 3 full. But let's say I did draft this card here and there were still these 3 left. So now it goes like this. There's only 1 card left in that row. So what's going to happen though is as soon as someone takes this card, we're going to put 3 new cards out there. Or if in cleanup phase next time I clear that out, we're going to put 3 new cards out. So as soon as it exhausts, you get 3 more choices. And that also is going to indicate how the game ends too. When this stack of cards is gone, which is based on the number of players, the game's over. So that's the timer for the game. Those cards are constantly coming through there. And you're going to play just a few rounds because of that. So we went through cleanup. We went through new objectives. So secure districts, this is kind of another thing too that's kind of cool in this game. If I were able to, over the course of the game, put cubes in a perimeter that's connected into an enclosed area, I take all the scouting cubes off of that. And then I take one of my houses here, which is going to give me a checkmark objective or a checkmark area, that thing that I can do, a permanent benefit, which I'll talk about here in a second. I'll put a house in there and I've secured that. So then I'm also going to score points based on that as well. So when I do the secure districts, we're going to figure out how many cubes I have in that area. And there's a chart that's going to basically say if you have 4, you're going to score X number of points. So that's a big way to score points is by securing districts. Also, the other thing too is if you are in that district when it becomes secured, but you don't necessarily have those cubes there, well then you could say I had 1 cube there, so I still get something from that. I don't get to put my HUD out because I didn't enclose it, but I had cubes there, so I get some points. So putting cubes on the board is a really important part of getting points in this game. The final thing is we're going to refresh our hand, which means take the pile of cards with the most in it and place it into my hand. But I only do that if I'm under 4 cards. Under 4 cards, if I have 0 to 4 cards, then I refresh my hands and then carry out checkmark actions. So the checkmark actions are things that I unlock over the course of the game that have a checkmark there. I may do this one time now. I can basically sell a med kit for a battery, which is nice because it's going to give me like another wild action almost. So all those things happen in the checkmark things later, but there's like more checkmark actions that can happen. So as I complete this one's going to say like, this checkmark here is going to say I can spend a med kit to get 3 victory points. And there's objectives over there that have checkmarks on the top of them that are going to give me other things that I can do too in my checkmark area. So checkmarks maybe aren't as good of a single benefit or don't put cubes out on the board, but they're things that are going to, over the course of the game, power you up and help you, kind of like how these face-down scouting tiles help you to scout better. They're going to give you like a more permanent benefit, maybe not as powerful. So that's really a rough overview. This is not really a rules explanation, just kind of a, hey, what do you think of this game kind of feel for Blackout Hong Kong. That's an overview of the game. Not even really a how to play. There's tons of rules that I just buzzed over or didn't even touch on. So hopefully if you pick this up, you can go through the rules yourself and have kind of a baseline knowledge of this game at least to pick up where I didn't, really cover very well. So what do I think of this game? Well, let's get right to it, okay? Here's my pros and cons list. I'm going to get right to it. This has a good weight to it. So by that I mean like it's going to keep experienced gamers engaged because it's kind of a cool puzzle that you're trying to figure out how to get your engine to pop and do the best things possible, making a lot of meaningful decisions. So it's really excellent when it comes to being something that an experienced gamer can continue to play and enjoy. But the rule set's not so complex that someone who's new to gaming couldn't figure it out and play with it. So the weight of this game, it's like I call it Family Plus. Like maybe that next step after you hit that family weight game of like Airlines Europe or Ticket to Ride or something. This is maybe the next game to go to. And if you really love like Mombasa or Great Western Trail, this might be like a step along the way to getting to those games from Pfister. Like it doesn't really borrow super heavily from either of those games. The stacking cards thing I know gets a lot of comparisons to Mombasa, but really they're kind of different how they do it and stuff. So just taking the piles back is really the only thing that it borrows from Mombasa, honestly. So that's, I guess I kind of let that out of the bag pretty quick there. That I don't really feel like this Mombasa really at all. So anyway, the theme on this game is amazing. I love the theme. So I think honestly, this game is like Mr. decided he's gonna do some karma work in the world to try and like maybe make up for the theme that he got a lot of criticism for in Mombasa. In Mombasa, you're basically capitalizing on local resources to get diamonds and things like that. In this game, you're making the world a better place. You're going out and you're saying, man, these people don't have enough food. They don't have enough water. They don't have medicines they need and things like that. So let's go into these neighborhoods. Let's organize a good search party and organize things that are going to do good in this world and make this town safe until the power can get back on. And it's not like even a doomsday thing. It's like, hey, something happened. The power's out for a while. I mean, it doesn't even really say, oh no, electricity isn't a thing anymore. And it's like, what was that TV show where the electricity just was going to be off forever? It's not like that thing. It's just like hey, the power's out for a few days. Can you come help us, make this neighborhood nice and safe? And that's what you're doing in this game. And it feels really good. It feels like you're doing a positive work in Hong Kong. And it does really feel like uplifting and happy, like that you're doing these cool things, as opposed to like other games where you're doing warfare and pillaging villages and taking resources. Like I can kind of be numb to those and just kind of shrug them off. And I still play those games. Nothing wrong with that. But this game, when you play it, you just feel happy. You feel happy you're doing positive things and getting families to be safe and be happy. So I love the theme of this game so much. And the theme shouldn't be slid over. I mean, like, it does. I mean, if you put yourself into that situation and play out that theme, it makes this game so much more enjoyable. I mean, like, and I think a lot of people who are looking at this game go, the design on it is really bad. The board's bland. Cards are pretty unengaging. So like the theme, they're making it into this abstract. But if you can keep the theme on this game, I think it makes it a really awesome game to play. It just feels good. It feels like you're being philanthropic or being a positive person and making the world better. And I love that feeling. I hope that I can in real life make the world a better place. I mean, I'm a teacher. I try and do that every day. So playing a board game that does that, you don't get to do that super often. You don't feel like you're playing a game where you're a hero that's doing something totally like realistically awesome as like you're an everyday hero almost in this game, I guess is what I want to say. So this game is familiar in that card thing I talked about in Mombasa. Going on to my next point, I guess, that you pull cards back and you're picking cards out of your hand to put them down in 3 spots. That does feel familiar, but this feels like a brand new game. Like you're adding cards to a hand that you're going to put out and program things with. And while I get that happens in Mombasa, this one feels just entirely different because when you pull the cards back is different. You have to plan to have, like, I'm going to get this stack back next, so I want to spend these cards because I know I'll get those back. You don't get that choice of taking back the stacks you want. And then the other piece too in this is I don't know, it just what the cards do for you is just different. Like I don't know, it just feels different. Usually the cards are about gathering supplies or doing the actions that are printed on the cards. Whereas like Mombasa feels more like a worker placement game driven by those cards. This one really has those cards kind of at the heart of them. It's more of a card game. It has board elements to it. Whereas I think Mombasa's a board game that has card elements to it. So I feel like they're really different. So I don't feel like there's a lot of like overlap. I don't feel like there's a lot of repeat. I feel like this one's new and unique and different. So my cons on this, graphic design. Woof. It's not good. The color selections on this were like almost the worst that you could have done because the die colors don't match the card colors. And the card colors, the dots on the cards barely match the boards. And then the colors are so close. I've never been a person to say that I'm colorblind or has difficulty with color differentiation. But depending on the lighting in your room, that red and that purplish color are super hard to tell apart at times. So you're going to have to play with really bright light to make this game okay to play. And the graphic design on this game could have been so much better. It's just a black map, bunch of lines on it. I mean, like, it's not pretty. So this game I think is better than the design let it be. And I don't know. I'm not trying to point fingers or accuse, but this game was announced pretty recently and now it's out. So I feel like I really wish they would have made us wait until April or May and really done the graphic design on this game well. And it's too bad because this game is so good. It would be, honest to goodness, if the graphic design were better on this, it would be a 4.5 or 5 out of 5 in my book. But that graphic design kills it. And so that's a huge con. And like, I don't know, man. I'm almost thinking about like seeing if I can get little dots to paste up my board and stuff. And then like sleeve the cards with little dots on it that are just more clear colors. And if you're colorblind, there's no way, there's no chance you're gonna be able to play this game. There's no symbology on it at all. Like, so like on like some games like Ticket to Ride, there's like a little symbol inside of the colors so you can match the symbols up. None of that on this. So if you're colorblind, they did not think of you at all. If you're not colorblind, they barely thought of you. So I mean, like, it's just the graphic design on this game is really bad. And I would almost discourage people from buying it because of that to a degree. I mean, like, it's an excellent game, but the colors on it are just so bad that it detracts from what otherwise is an excellent game. And I try my best to not be critical of things in my reviews, unless they're really a big deal to me. Because I don't know, if something's a big deal to me, it may be fine for you. That's cool. And I hope you feel that way about the things that I highlight as well. Maybe if something's great for me, it's not for you. This is a universally just bad thing. I just, no one I played this game with, no one who's looked at this game with me has gone away from it going, oh, I think you're wrong. I think the design on this is, like, it's functional and it's good. It's not even functional. Like, the colors on it are so bad. So, I hate that. I hate that Eggert Spiel, like, this company that I absolutely love and usually produces beautiful games, has done this. And this is one game that, like, I made a rule for myself that I'm only going to purchase 10 games this year. And this is one of my 10. And I don't regret it because I love this game and it's really fun. It's really great. But man, if a second printing of this game came out where the colors were fixed, and they need to do that, they should send a copy to all of us, or a new board and cards or something to all of us that bought this copy. Because it's, honestly, it's functionally, it's pretty broken. I mean, like, it's just so hard to differentiate those colors for me. And I'm not alone. Like, other reviewers have said it too, and I'm going to just dogpile it because it's inexcusable that they picked the colors they did. It's terrible. So, final thoughts on this, I guess. And I hate to be so, like, drab and just down this game because I do love it for the most part, but those colors, so frustrating. So anyway, accessibility. This is going to be accessible to almost everybody. Like, anybody can really play this game, honestly. I mean, I think an 8-year-old could play this game, probably. I mean, there's some of the symbols they have to learn and stuff that would be a little tricky, but an 8-year-old who has a background in gaming could play. The theme is going to be accessible to everyone. I mean, like, this theme is amazing. I love the theme. What the theme does that's positive and awesome almost negates that bad design to make it, like, neutral, but the theme is just so awesome. I love it. The fun of this game is really high, a 5 out of 5, because it feels fun to go out and help people. And it feels fun to, like, make your engine and complete the small objectives, add cards to your hand. It's a really fun game, and I love playing it. And I would play it most any time. The replayability is going to be a 4 out of 5, because those tiles are different every time it comes out. And the different cards that pop out in different orders make it fresh and feel different every time. It's not like a puzzle that you can solve once and then it's going to be the same. There's a lot of randomizing elements in this game. And there's a lot of, like, making the best of what you have available to you with those die and things like that. So the replayability isn't infinite. The rule sets, there's slightly different variable setups with this, like, campaign that I haven't really even mentioned. Campaign's super light on, like, story and light on, whatever. But it's there, it's present. So the solo play on this is really awesome too. I didn't mention that in my pros. That weighed into this too. This does play solo fairly well. This is where I gotta give you some bad business here, guys. The 2 out of 5. I even feel like that might be a little generous on the design, like the components and design. So I mean, like, I feel like the design of this game was amazing. It's a great game, great theme. I want to love this game so badly. I want to give this game 5 out of 5. I want to make it a Hall of Fame game. That's great because I do love the stuff I love about it a lot. The color selection is just so bad that I had to knock it down. So my final rating on this, I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 5 because the things that were strong about it are that strong. The game itself is great. I mean, I'm telling you, it's great. And I don't want to totally penalize a game because maybe, it could be their publisher, their printer, their colors were off a little in this first print run. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they were to fix the colors on this, okay, and put, like, something to make this accessible to colorblind people, this game is a 5 out of 5 game. And it's in my top 10 favorite games. Because of that, it's not. And it's a 4 out of 5 game. And it's a top 100 game, probably top 50, even at this point. But it really hurts it. And usually components don't mess a game up that bad. I don't know what else to say. It's a bummer. I think I've made this point, like, really big and enough. So, final rating 4 out of 5. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 wrench rating. That's where it's going to set at. Really do love it. It's a really cool game. Love the theme. The mechanics of it are really awesome. Just those colors, so bad. Really do love it though, and it honestly might be. I like it more than Mombasa as it is probably the actual game. There's a way to fix the colors in this game. I will do it, and I will like it more. But just I hate having to always do that math of what color is this one again, and like the purple and red. It's how it all goes out, and like once you play it, you're gonna be like, yeah, it kind of messed that one up. So anyway, they've got to fix the colors in this game, and then it's gonna be an amazing game. If they don't fix it, it's a pretty good game. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I've been Joel. Thank you, David.